Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor. Today I wanted to touch base and talk about returns and some of the options eBay has that you can actually negate some of the new changes that have happened. I know they're setting up auto returns and things like that based on the actual issue for the return. And I've had a lot of questions about this and a lot of people wondering and worrying when they started to see actually automatic accepted returns. But we're going to go over to the screen in just a minute here, and I'm going to show you some of the options that are available to you through the preference settings in your eBay account. And this should be across the board for most people if you're selling, especially those that are selling in a store. You have many more options to do things, but we're going to go over to the screen, and I'm going to talk a lot about here some of the options, including how to block bidders and some of the requirements you can set up to help alleviate some of the stress and pain from bad bidders and things like that. So we're going to go over to the screen and we're going to talk about returns and some of the policy settings you can do.
Okay, so we are in site preferences now. If you go up to account settings, which you can get to from where your name is on the top left of the page, your main page, you just click on account settings, and from there you can click on site preferences, and you're going to scroll through here. Now, site preferences I use across the board. I've looked at every one of these things in here on many different occasions to set and change and to do different options. This is where you set up your sales tax table, which is where we set it up at. We don't take, like merchant credit cards directly. Everything goes through PayPal. We have one main source of payments, so that for us is helpful. Other accounts, obviously, we have direct payments into our bank account and things like that. But for eBay, everything is paid through PayPal. Once in a blue moon, we get other forms of payment, which I have discussed as well. You can take checks and things like that, but you'd want to do it like as a local pickup and change the listing, just FYI. I know I had talked about payments and checks and stuff and didn't add that information in, so I do apologize. But, you technically can't accept checks, but if you change it to a direct pickup only, the listing prior to selling it, then you're able to collect other forms of payment, and there's nothing eBay can say about that. So anyway, like here with the guaranteed delivery setting, I would never do that personally. Not for collectibles and antiques. It's not worth it. I do the global shipping program. I do offer combined shipping as well. I don't do flat shipping, but I always do calculated shipping for everything. I don't give away the discounts either. As you see, the options are no. That way, let's say I charge $3.50 for a 3-ounce postcard to go out, and it only costs me $2.66 now. So I actually keep the difference to compensate me for the fees, the shipping fees, which you obviously pay a final value fee on the shipping fees, and plus it also covers my boxes and incidental items like printer and all that kind of stuff, paper. So anyway, that's just the way we do it. You can also put like required phone number. There's a ton of other things that you can do to this, but I'm going to show you the two key things that I do over across the board. Let me see here. Like buyer requirements. I put this across the board on all of them. Have received 2 unpaid strikes within 1 month, they can't bid. Have a primary shipping address in a location I do not ship to, they cannot bid. Have a feedback score of -1 or lower, and they cannot bid. So again, that's just how I work it. You can change them. It literally goes into all the details. You can adjust the amount that they have. You can raise it up to 3, 4, 5 if you think 2's not a bad number. But in my opinion, anybody who backs out on 2 sales, I'm not going to mess with. And I think you can change, yeah, that's over a long period of time. I do it as a month. I guess I should probably change it to, say, a longer period of time. But within 1 month, people forget, stuff happens. I personally don't have any unpaid item claims or anything. But, everybody is different. Things happen. There's emergencies and things like that that can affect you. So anyway, and just like here, you can do this too. Here's another one. Buyers who bid on several of my items and not pay for them. Now, I have people that buy from us over a whole month period, so if I click this would affect them, so I don't worry about that. I've never had an issue not clicking this. And right here, if you want to change it so it applies to all of your listings, you can click it right here, and it'll apply for every single one of me. And then also, here's another key one too. This one I would recommend anybody doing. The minute you block somebody, make sure you have this button here, this radio button here clicked. Don't allow blocked buyers to contact me. That way they can't contact you. They can't harass you about why they're blocked. It's always worked better for me. There might be some instances where you block somebody by accident, but the chances of that for me are very slim because I'm very picky on what I do. So anyway, let's just get out of there. We're just going to back up and look back at the preferences again. Again, site preferences. So again, that's what I would do. I would look into here very closely and see how this is. You can also come here and look at this right here, buyer requirements activity log, and it's going to tell you everybody who is blocked from bidding on your items or making an offer. And it's got them done broken down by, you know, day of the week. It goes back a couple months. Yeah, it goes back a couple months. So I don't know why they're out of order in time frame. I guess it's by user actually in this category here. So you can actually see who was blocked, why they were blocked. You can make an exemption by clicking on them and then exempt from buyer requirements. But again, people can't contact me. I don't mess with it when it's out of countries that I don't ship to. They just have to go through, global shipping program if it's not a direct ship company. And then if they can't go through the global shipping program, you know, I don't want to ship to that country in the first place. So, you know, just because of issues or unpaid items or no lack of support from tracking from the post office. So if our post office doesn't sync with the other country's post office and I can't get tracking to the door, I don't do anything with them. Even through the global shipping program, I just don't want to mess with some countries. That's your prerogative. You know, that's how you want to do it. But for the most part, we're very strict on the countries we ship to. So anyway, and I've said this before, we ship directly to Canada, to the UK, to France, Germany, Australia, and Japan. Everybody else is through global shipping program. In those countries, we only ship items that weigh less than 4 pounds because it can be sent first class international. Anything over that, you have to worry about with U.S. priority and the fees and the charges that the items cost. Most of our items that go overseas are paper anyway, so I don't worry about the 1 or 2 items that we may not have sold that weigh over, 4 pounds. So anyway, let's go back and look at a couple more buyer requirements. Okay, now the key ones here, now the main issue that I had was on automatically being accepted for returns. One thing you can do is you can go into your site. Let's click it and open up a new tab on this one here. You can go into here, return preferences. If you click on, which I do, give me the option to add an RMA, return authorization number, to each return label. This means that you will see every return that comes in and have to supply a name or some number or an authorization for those returns. This will stop those returns from automatically being accepted and done before you even know they happen. So again, this is what you want to do. RMA number on. That's what you want to do on these. And you can also come in here and set this up. Now this is not on, the status is off. You can set this up to automatically accept certain returns and only certain returns. Let's go here and edit so you can see what it says. Now this will stop some returns from being automatically accepted as well. You can select your return address, you can select different amounts. You can select all kinds of things on here. Now, I don't like some of the options on here, so I don't use this version at all. I fix it so it has to go through the other way. So it actually has to go through an RMA. So RMA is what you want. So again, if you're having issues with returns and you don't want to just be unaware that the return just happened, force it to do an RMA number on everyone, so you will see it and have to punch in that number, and that number is going to show up on the return slip so you can kind of tie them together. That's what that's used for. We do that. We've done it for a while. You know, there's many options in here, but as you see, return preferences is a big help. It really creates some differences for you. In my opinion, it helps. It's a big plus for me. There's other things, review guides, there's third party. Let's say you signed up for some service and you didn't want that service, and for some reason the site won't block it or anything. If you come up to third party authorizations, you can block pretty much anything that you have that you gave authorization for. So if you made a mistake and assigned something, you can usually come in here and click the revoke this authorization, and it'll block some pretty much any third-party service from coming in and accessing your account. So anyway, that's another one here. Most of the other stuff I don't worry about. We do the buyer alerts on eBay pages and things like that. We do the invoices specifically in a certain way as well too. But other than that, the key ones, as I said, are the return preferences, your blocked bidders and things like that, your bidder requirements. There's a lot of other things you can do. On your main page, there's actually a block buyer section too. Now here is another option. This one's for most of you should be easy to find. It's in your seller hub for most of you who have a store. Buyer bidder management. Now this is a big help for me. This is where you can get people out of a list or add them to the list. Block bidders. This is usually where I go when I have an issue with somebody. If you're unaware, if you click on here, you can block anybody you want. Based on issues you've had with them. Now I have a huge list here. You can see there's quite a few people. I actually copy these as well from one account to the other. You can just highlight them, right click, copy. You can paste it on another document or something, or have both accounts open at the same time. I wouldn't recommend having two accounts open at the same time, because sometimes there could be issue with you doing something you shouldn't be doing on one account because you mixed up which account you had. So usually I would copy this to a Word document and then just paste it in later on once I sign back into the other account. But I do this all the time. If the name's already in there, it's not going to add another one in anyway. It's not going to change the facts. So you can just cut and paste, if you have more than one account, the block bidders list. But those are the keys that I would say that are important. Again, the returns is the biggest one here. I have people wondering and worried and upset about that. Just add the RMA on option, and you're going to alleviate the issues here. You'll know when a return comes in, because you're going to have to supply a number to authorize that return, each and every return. So anyway, that's what I have for you today.
Well, there you go. Those are some of the settings that we personally use, and some of the options that are very good to help you adjust and set up your business. They won't work for everybody. It just really depends on your mentality and your thinking and how you run your business. They also help alleviate some issues with maybe bad bidders, new bidders, and things like that. But again, these are things that are going to help you, help your business, and help things run smoother. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon up top to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.